And we're back. We have Lindsay Wilson, Community Impact and Engagement Manager with United Way of Oxford. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So United Way Oxford funding process.
Exactly.
Can you tell me what that is?
Absolutely. So United Way Oxford has opened its funding application process for the next year. And that starts with a statement of interest, which is due at the end of the month, September 30th. So we're just kind of sharing information about what we fund and why we fund it and how those decisions are made.
So this is the time if there are charitable organizations that are looking for United Way support, this is the time for them to start the application process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's right.
So what are your funding streams?
So we have a couple of priority areas. So an organization would have to be working within one of these streams to be eligible for funding. So that's from poverty to possibility is one. All that kids can be is another. And the third is building strong communities.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to apply, what is the process of going ahead with that?
Yeah, great question. So the process begins with a statement of interest, which is kind of where we're at in the process right now. And that's really a short part to make sure that it's going to be a good fit. We don't want people spending hours and hours on an application if they're not eligible. We don't want to, set people up for success. And we know these organizations have limited time. So the statement of interest is that first step to kind of share a little bit about what they'd like to do and what they hope to achieve with the funding. So that process is where we are right now.
Okay. Are you able to tell us examples of past organizations that have benefited from this?
Absolutely.
Is that allowed? Okay.
Yeah. So I believe Big Brothers Big Sisters is on often, and that's an organization that United Way proudly funds and has for quite some time. Because we know how important it is to invest in children at a young age to really set them up for success. And that's a priority of United Way to intervene early so that people don't need those services, kind of crucial crisis services later in life.
Okay. So I guess the homeless is a big hot topic in Oxford County right now. It has that. Is there someone or an organization that is supporting that?
Yes. So United Way Oxford has partnered with the Oxford County Community Health Center on a couple of programs. The Transitional Housing Program is one, and people may be familiar with that program. We provide people not just the shelter, but the support day to day to be able to move out of homelessness and into stability and a more healthy, safe environment. So we do fund that with the Community Health Center. And we also fund housing stability programs. So that's trying to prevent homelessness in the first place through eviction prevention and that kind of support.
Okay. And then how are the decisions made? So if these applications are coming in, how do you guys decide?
That is my favorite question, because not just because it's important for people to understand kind of the rigorous process, but also because we really rely on community volunteers giving us their perspective. It's not about what the staff think should be funded or that kind of thing. We have a volunteer panel of community impact volunteers who meet. Last year, I think collectively they contributed over 300 hours reviewing the written applications and presentations from the organizations looking for funding. So we really do rely on those volunteers who know the community to help us make those really difficult decisions about funding.
Okay. And is there a deadline of when these applications need to be in?
So the statement of interest is due September 30th.
Okay. So coming up soon.
Absolutely.
So if anybody's watching, now's the time to at least get those statements in. Okay. And how do they go about that then?
So if someone has not received funding from United Way in the past, we ask them to start with kind of like a one-on-one consult just to make sure it's going to be a good fit. If they're eligible and all that kind of thing, we give them a link to our online portal, and everything kind of is hosted online after that point.
And then do you guys have an explanation or an announcement to say, okay, this year, this is who we're funding? Or is it kind of kept more private?
No, we do. So it's a long process. So those decisions would be public by March of next year, so that, for their next year of funding starting
for the next
1st.
campaign.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll definitely get you back in March to talk about who the lucky organizations are. Okay, well, thanks very much for being on the show. It was lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.